Hello everyone, thank you for watching my YouTube channel. I am telling about for this coin. 5-cent coin 1984, Canada Elizabeth. The 1984 Canadian 5-cent steel coin, including its design, composition, historical context, minting practices, symbolism, and economic and cultural significance. The 1984 Canadian 5-cent coin, a reflection of national heritage, and minting transition coins often serve as more than just currency. They are reflections of a nation's history, values, technological progress, and political stability. The 5-cent coin from Canada, minted in 1984, is one such example. While appearing modest in size and value, this coin provides insights into Canadian identity, wildlife symbolism, minting innovations, and economic priorities of the 1980s. As part of a long-standing numismatic tradition, the 1984 Canadian 5-cent coin, particularly struck in steel, stands as a testament to Canada's evolving coinage systems and national pride. Historical background of Canadian coinage. Canada's monetary system has its roots in both British and French colonial influences. The first Canadian coins were minted in 1858, a few years before the Confederation in 1867. The 5-cent denomination was initially struck in silver, and called the fish scale due to its small size and light weight. In 1922, the Royal Canadian Mint (RCM) transitioned the 5-cent coin from silver to nickel, marking the first time pure nickel was used in a circulating coin. This move positioned Canada as a leader in nickel coinage, supported by its rich nickel resources, particularly in Sudbury, Ontario. By the 1980s, Canada was facing rising metal costs and inflationary pressures, prompting changes in coin compositions and minting technologies. Canada, in 1984. Political and economic context. In 1984, Canada was undergoing significant political and economic changes. The Liberal Party, led by Pierre Trudeau, stepped down in June, and progressive conservative leader Brian Mulroney took office in September. The country was recovering from the inflation and recession of the late 1970s and early 1980s. Against this backdrop, the Royal Canadian Mint was exploring cost-effective materials and techniques to produce coinage efficiently. This included transitioning from traditional nickel coins to plated steel blanks, which were more economical and easier to strike. Composition and material changes. Although most 1984 Canadian 5-cent coins were still struck in pure nickel, the Royal Canadian Mint had already begun testing alternative materials due to the increasing cost and difficulty of sourcing nickel. By the mid-1990s, nickel coins would give way to steel core coins with nickel plating. However, some trial pieces and transitional varieties may have included steel compositions as early as the 1980s, particularly in experimental runs. If your reference to a steel 1984 5-cent coin is accurate, it may be part of an experimental or special minting trial, not widely circulated, making such coins rare and of interest to numismatists. However, officially, the regular issue 1984 5-cent coin was composed of pure nickel, standard composition, 1982 to 1999, 100%, nickel weight, 4.54 grams diameter, 21.2 millimeters edge, plain shape, round design. Overview. Obverse. The monarch's portrait. The obverse of the 1984 Canadian 5-cent coin features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin, a British sculptor. This portrait was introduced in 1965 and remained on Canadian coins until 1989. Inscription: Elizabeth II DG, Regina. Translation: Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. The Queen is depicted facing right, wearing a tiara, symbolizing Canada's status as a constitutional monarchy and member of the Commonwealth. Reverse. The iconic beaver design. The reverse of the coin showcases the image of a beaver, an animal with deep historical and economic significance to Canada. Designer: G.E. Kruger Gray, 1937. Design: the beaver sits atop a log surrounded by water. Inscription: 5 cents above the beaver, Canada below, and the year 1984 at the bottom. The design is flanked by 2 maple leaves, symbolizing Canadian national identity. Symbolism of the beaver. The beaver is one of Canada's most iconic national symbols, even designated as the official animal of Canada in 1975. Its inclusion on the 5-cent coin dates back to 1937. Historically, beavers played a central role in the fur trade, which was a foundational part of Canada's early economy. Companies like the Hudson's Bay Company and French fur traders relied on beaver pelts, particularly for hat making in Europe. The beaver symbolizes diligence, resourcefulness, and industriousness, values that Canadians have long associated with national character. Its image on the 5-cent coin reinforces this symbolism and Canada's rich natural heritage minting process and facilities. In 1984, the Royal Canadian Mint continued to produce coins from its main facility in Ottawa. The RCM is known globally for its innovation and quality in minting, having introduced technologies such as multiply plating and laser engraving. That year, millions of 5-cent coins were produced, although exact mintage figures vary slightly across sources. Estimates suggest mintage over 97 million coins. No special commemorative versions were issued for circulation in 1984. However, proof-like and specimen sets were produced for collectors, featuring highly polished dies and superior finish value and collectability. Most 1984 Canadian 5-cent coins have modest collector value, as they were mass-produced and widely circulated. However, the following variations could interest collectors. High-grade, uncirculated coins. MS65 or better proof, like in specimen coins. Rare experimental steel core variants if verified through metal analysis mint errors, such as off strikes or double dies. A certified He-grade coin might fetch a small premium, especially in collector sets. Counterfeiting and security. Although law denomination coins are not common targets for counterfeiters, the RCM implemented several features in later years to enhance security and reduce counterfeiting risks, including micro-engraving and laser markings. In 1984, the technology was simpler, and coin authenticity relied primarily on the material properties and precision of minting. Transition to steel coinage. By the late 1990s, the RCM transitioned fully to multiply-plated steel coins, including the 5-cent denomination. This change was prompted by the rising cost of nickel and the need for more efficient production. Although the 1984 coin was still composed of nickel, it served as a precursor to this transition. Trials and metallurgical research during the 1980s laid the groundwork for the widespread adoption of steel-based coins in Canada by 2000. Environmental and economic considerations. The shift toward plated steel had both economic and environmental benefits. Reduced mining of nickel, which is energy-intensive, lower production costs, lighter weight coins, reducing transportation costs. These factors all began influencing policy during the 1980s and shaped future minting decisions. Legacy and conclusion. The 1984 Canadian 5-cent coin stands as a reflection of Canada's cultural identity, political history, and numismatic evolution. Though it may not be a rare or high-value coin in the eyes of collectors, its symbolism, design, and historical placement make it a worthy subject of appreciation. The beaver on its reverse honors a nation built through hard work and natural resourcefulness. The Queen's portrait represents Canada's constitutional framework and its continuity as part of the British Commonwealth. Its nickel composition speaks to Canada's mining heritage and industrial strengths. In many ways, this small coin captures the essence of a country at a crossroads, respecting tradition while quietly preparing for technological and economic transformation. Today, as newer coins circulate with updated portraits and steel compositions, the 1984 5-cent piece remains a solid reminder of Canada's minting legacy and cultural resilience.